Saturday night in South London, hundreds of young people are gathering for the latest craze, an acid house party in a disused warehouse. Coaches will take them to a destination which has deliberately been kept secret to evade the police.
Where do you think you're going to?
Mystery tour. We don't know. It's what's a mystery.
That's the mystery about it. This is Acid Man.
Acid house music has been described as a sinister and evil cult which encourages young people to take drugs. One person has died after taking ecstasy, a drug associated with the music. But few people know where the acid house craze came from and how serious a threat it is to young people. To find out, World in Action has spent a weekend with all sides of this controversial music scene. It's a weekend which ends in confrontation as the police step up their campaign against acid house parties.
Well, when it first started, it was really different. The music was like nothing else really that had been around. Most of the time my parents don't really know that I'm going to an illegal warehouse party. I'd just say it's a warehouse party and they don't ask me whether it's illegal or not because they don't really know about those sort of things.
Okay then, see you later. Bye. Been to a few warehouse parties in Watford. When you walk in, it's different because it's all packed. People are all wearing different clothes and in general, the atmosphere is just so much better because you know that it's not straight and policemen could walk in any time.
My parents aren't worried about like warehouse parties but only acid parties because they think there's going to be more, you know, there's going to be drugs going around the acid parties but not like a normal warehouse party.
I like acid because it's all freaky, you can move around a lot to it. Clothes are all loose, it's just generally a laugh.
You can dance in clothes that are related with acid because you can just wear jeans and trainers and all that sort of thing. They're not stupid like things like tight skirts and high heels.
Well, acid house, or even if you abbreviate it to house music, started way back in about '83 in Chicago in a club called The Warehouse, where a DJ called Frankie Knuckles was experimenting with a new form of music. People called it house music because it was originally played and created at The Warehouse.
But in Britain, it was immediately assumed that the music was linked with drugs because of the use of the 70s smiley symbol and the term acid, which can refer to the drug LSD.
Acid house, as we know it now, is a slang term from Chicago, which actually means sampling. The Chicago producers and artists used to call it acid burning when somebody had taken a line or sampled a piece of somebody else's record and used it on their own production. That's where the term acid house came from.
Good morning, London. You're listening to Studio FM on 92.7, and I'm waking you up with a bit of house-style acid.
We've been hearing a lot lately in the press about how bad acid music is. We know different. We know it came from Chicago about 2.5 years ago. We know the music is good and that we all enjoy it. London is pumping at the moment to the sound of acid beats. Also in Manchester, the beat is sounding hard as well. The music is firing, and this goes out to the newspapers and the media. Acid isn't all bad.
Sometimes you wear smiley t-shirts and that, like we went up Camden, we saw them all and we thought, yeah, but then everybody started wearing them, so we didn't bother wearing them then. So acid badges and that.
The pop music scene has always been linked with drug abuse, and concern increased when some acid house fashions appeared to encourage young people to experiment with drugs, particularly one known as ecstasy. Hugh Dufficy advises the Health Education Authority about drug abuse. He's been gathering information on ecstasy from officially backed drug advice centres.
It's not as dangerous as other drugs that create physical dependency. Its dangers are primarily to do with the psychological and physical effects.
Ecstasy is a non-addictive stimulant which was first developed in 1914 and has been used to help patients with psychological problems. But there are fears that it can cause brain damage. 3 years ago, it was made illegal when people started abusing it.
With sustained use, it can cause exhaustion. It can cause people to become anxious. And in a combination, the anxiety coupled with contact with emotions and feelings that ordinarily they haven't been in contact with can create depression.
In early November, a young woman died after taking 2 tablets of ecstasy. It was the first death of its kind. The tragedy made acid house parties front-page news. The coverage gave ecstasy a similar profile as drugs like heroin and cocaine, which are responsible for hundreds of deaths each year.
It is a serious drug of abuse. The actual misuse of it in this country, I must concede there's certainly an increase this year, but it's certainly nowhere near the epidemic that has been portrayed. The media has tended to suggest that every acid house party has drugs. I mean, that's arrant nonsense, I would suggest. And equally, I mean, on the occasions where drugs are found at these parties, it's not just ecstasy. It's all sorts of drugs. Any place where youngsters congregate, whether it be the local pub, I mean, you may well be able to get drugs there as well.
They're no more likely to come in contact with dangerous drugs at an acid house party than they are in local pubs, local clubs, local discos. Young people, if they're looking for drugs, will locate the arena in which they're being sold in.
Our laboratory, for example, up to the end of August, had seen approximately 600 cases of cocaine, 600 cases of amphetamine, and 700 cases, I think it was, of heroin, those sort of figures. And up to the end of October this year, they had only seen 51 cases of ecstasy. And because of the special attention that we've been having, I looked at those 51 cases personally, and many of them were just single tablets, sometimes half a tablet.
It's up to the person. I mean, if you get offered drugs, it's up to them whether they want to take them or not. It's nothing to do with anyone else. But if they want to, I think they're stupid. But it's up to them.
There's going to be like drugs at all parties. It doesn't necessarily have to be an acid party.
Yeah, this is true.
I know
Screws you up.
I've known people who have taken it and it's affected them for like a week, and people who have taken one never take it again because it's really bad and you hallucinate. And,
so it's like a nightmare, doesn't it?
Yeah, and everything's coming in to get you.
Someone that I know reckons that it's ruined their whole life since they took it. And never again, you know, warn you never ever to do it ever.
The drugs have got nothing to do with the music, it's just the same name. There's been drugs sort of all through every trend, like the mods used to take all loads of drugs, pills and everything. She used to pop them all the time, and most of our parents were like mods or rockers or whatever, and they used to drink and take drugs and everything, but now their parents, they're saying that we're not allowed to go to parties and that because of acid, because of the bad press.